All right, this is Brian with King Grizzly, and today we're going to continue going through the Pro widgets, and we are up to the Nav menu widget. So I'm going to just go and make a menu. So I've already got a normal one, but under Appearance Menus in WordPress, I can create a new menu. So I need to surface some kind of menu, right? So we'll just call this Demo Menu. Thank you, Auto Suggest. Create Menu. And I'll just go ahead and throw in a few links. So we've got an actual menu. Let's save that. Okay, so we're going to go to our test page, refresh, just so the page knows about it. And that's fine. Okay, now this widget works especially well inside of Theme Builder. Like if you wanted to actually build this as your main menu system, but the nav menu also works just anywhere as a widget. So I drag it in, I can click on it. I'm gonna give this thing a little more padding just so it's not jammed right up against the top. So I don't know. That's actually horrible, isn't it? Okay, we'll do something less. Okay, so anyway, here we go. So it's got some default styles that it's picking up from our theme. If I click on the widget again, we can choose which menu we want to pull in. So yep, I want the demo menu. I can choose a layout, horizontal, vertical, or drop down, which goes to the hamburger approach. All those can be styled. I want horizontal here. I can choose an alignment or stretch, which will space them evenly, which can be really handy. Like if we had a logo over here on the left, if this were a multi-column, and maybe some other items over here, then stretch sometimes is kind of cool. For now, I think I will just go with centered. Okay, so then we can choose what's called the pointer, and that's this hover state. So you can see it's set to underline. I could say none if I don't want to use one of these. So there's different ones we can try. Pretty nice, because a lot of these don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? You need a way to indicate what's being highlighted or what's active. You can set an animation, so we can fiddle with that. Kind of cool. I can grow in those backgrounds as they come in. Submenu indicator. If we had a submenu, let me go ahead and make this. I'm gonna update this. Let's just go ahead and add some kind of submenu item. Let's see. If you don't know this, you can actually add custom links too. So if I wanted to, I could just have like a custom link. Okay, I'm going to add that. We'll just nest that under one of these. Let's add a couple just so we can show how the styling works. Another link. All right. So I'm going to nest that there. So we've got a subnav, save menu. Let's go back over here, refresh. All right, we should have a submenu now on approach, and you can see, cool, by default this is already pretty nice. We can click on that widget again. Submenu indicator, maybe I want to use something besides the chunky triangle. This chevron's pretty nice. And then we can actually decide at what point do we want to go into the mobile sort of hamburger view. And it used to be that Elementor forced you to do this, but sometimes you have a site where you don't want to do that. So there's a new feature now where you can say none, like don't ever do that. But just so you can see it, if I go to tablet, you can see we go into this hamburger view, and I could decide no, just do that on mobile. So then it would only happen at the mobile size. So that's a nice option, and you can actually control where that toggle sits. So if I'm on mobile, I don't want my padding to be quite so big, right? So, and maybe on left and right, I even want it to be less. So we can fiddle with those settings. We'll come back to the mobile. So let's go back to the desktop view and see what other options are available to us. If we go to style, we can set the typography as with other Elementor things. So I'm just gonna choose a horrible mouse memoirs. Is this like a Mickey Mouse? Okay, that's pretty bad, right? Let's play it safe and go with something that you can read. It's kind of computery. Yeah, still pretty bad. I'm going to set some rem sizing for accessibility so I could make that bigger. So we can just go through here and fiddle around with our menu. Maybe I want to do all caps, uppercase, drop the size back down a bit, just play with that. And then I might decide that that looks like a horrible typeface and go with something else. You can choose a weight. Right, just keep playing with this till I get something that I like. Okay. All right, so typography setting, we can set the default text color. Perhaps I want it, let's just say I wanted it to be that green. It's hard to read. So maybe like a magenta. Cool. And now I'm deciding maybe I want a heavier weight for the demo. It's hard to see. Okay, so there we go. We can set horizontal padding on, and these are on the items themselves. So when we hover, I believe that will adjust how big our background tab gets. We can set the vertical padding, right? Pretty nice. Space between, so this will create space between them, but it won't make the highlights, the pointers, any bigger. It's just creating a gap. If we want a border radius, we could have one. Maybe I don't need so much vertical padding here. Create some little pill buttons. And then I can style drop downs, right? So we have this approach drop down. I kind of don't like that green going with the hover, so I forgot we can set our hover state too. So maybe I want my pointer color to be more of that magenta. I'm just going to guesstimate for demonstration purposes. There. So now that's kind of nice, right? And then we can set the active state. So if we're actually on a page, this is what would happen. So I'd probably do the same thing I did on hover, right? I would have the thing highlighted somehow by default just to indicate, hey, you're already on this page. I need to set that text color too. So there we go, we've got those set, but now we need to work on our drop downs because I don't really like that styling. So on the drop down, maybe I want that same color. We can set a background color. I'll just choose something obvious. So, okay, woo. All right, I don't like that, but maybe I want like a subtle gray. Okay, cool. Same thing with horizontal padding, vertical padding. We can experiment with those. Definitely want more. Distance. So what if I really soup that up? Whoa, too far, right? You can make a negative distance if that were necessary for some reason. Try 0. Okay. And so we can even have a border, solid. I could control, I just want a bottom border of 2 pixels, and I want that to be the green color. You see it puts one down there, or none. We can set the hover. So you can just go through and get yours the way you want. We can check, let's see here. So something a bit frustrating with this menu system is you'll notice the drop downs are left aligned instead of centered or full, the full width of the parent. And I thought that, well, surely I'm missing a setting here. Well, we're working on this. I've changed my hover state. I didn't like the one that was there. Anyway, I thought surely there's a setting. I don't see it. And if I go to GitHub, sounds like it's an issue. It says closed, but I'm not sure why it's closed. So someone basically is saying the same thing here. Look, my menu items are off to the left. So we're going to have to fix that with CSS, unless I'm missing something. So writing custom CSS is a bit out of the scope for this, but we'll just quickly try our hand at it. I need to go hunt down the class for the drop down. Let's see. Not sure. I'll get it in a second. So we would need to put in something along these lines. I mean, there's different ways you could do it. You could give 100% width. So let me figure out the class real quick. Okay, inspect element. Let's try this. I don't know if I need the link or not. So let's go. I clicked on the actual widget and I'm just putting the CSS here. Cross your fingers. Okay, so that worked. I was able to target the drop down and write a little CSS to get it to center. But yeah, I mean, depending on how you want to treat the CSS, there's different ways you could do that. It seems like there's quite a thread here on GitHub, and I'll put this in the description about the nav menu widget. It just could be improved, and Elementor does seem to roll out improvements all the time, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's coming soon. Okay, so going back to what we were doing to wrap things up, let's look at the mobile sizes. So we'll go down to that phone size. If I click on this, what happens? Okay, so we've got this toggle button. We can style our toggle a bit. So I could set a background color. I'm actually not unhappy with what's there, but I'm just winging it here with colors again. Maybe I'd prefer something like this. How big do I want this? I can set a border width, border radius, kind of go rounded maybe. Like, you know, the hover, I don't like that gray, so maybe on the hover I want the, I don't know, the color to stay. Let's see, let's make something up here. Yeah, I don't know. There. That's pretty bad user experience, but okay. So we've got that. Now what about the actual content that comes down here? That would be drop down as well. But we do have the ability to exert some control over mobile size styling. We can add dividers if we want. I believe under content there's the option to go full width. And I might be messing that up with my CSS. So just out of curiosity, what if we take our CSS off of here? Custom CSS. Yeah, see, so I will actually need to go through and figure out, you know, the class names at the different sizes and write breakpoint styling potentially. You know, if I really want to have the code here at the tablet size, I could just sort of turn this code off, you know, at, I'll show you. So I'll write a media query where this is only happening, you know, above our mobile breakpoint size. Okay, so I dropped a little more CSS in here where I'm basically saying the minimum width I want to apply this CSS at is 649 pixels. So you can go into your Elementor settings and figure out where your mobile breakpoints are. So let's see, where's that at? I'm trying to remember. So, okay, look, so Elementor settings style, we can look at our breakpoints. We can actually change them. So we can see 768 is our mobile breakpoint. So it might take some fiddling, but I might say, look, at 769 and above, apply this styling, which fixed that drop down, right, at tablet and desktop. Since at those sizes, we actually aren't wanting to go with I may need a refresh here. We aren't wanting to go with the hamburger. And you can see here at the tablet size, I can once again style the space between these things. I can bring that down. I could bring my horizontal padding down because it was actually inheriting it from the regular desktop version. Go through, drop the size of the font. Definitely takes a little fiddling if you don't use it, straight out of the box, but I think the potential here for just building a quick, nice nav is really great. And then here at the mobile size, we can still get in and style up a pretty nice drop menu. If you want it to be 100% tall, like if you want to just take over the whole screen, I've seen some people do that with plugins or custom CSS. I've tried both. But that's a pretty good tour of the nav system. As you can see, it could use some improvements, but it's not terrible. It's pretty strong, and it can be used as a sort of like a global theme, as sort of a header template, or it can be used anywhere on a page. So I'm sure you can come up with creative uses for it. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Please check out our other videos and subscribe if you want more Elementor content. And if anyone ever has a better method, please share with with the rest of us, because I'm learning new stuff every day myself about Elementor. All right, thanks again.